Forward-thinking managers in all industries are taking steps to attract and retain a workforce that reflects the cultural diversity of the population. They take seriously the fact that there's a link between diversity of the workforce and success in the marketplace. This course describes how domestic and global workforces are becoming increasingly diverse and how organizations are responding to the challenges and opportunities this presents. We'll look at a myriad of complex issues that managers and employees face in a diverse workforce and present an overview of initiatives taken by organizations to create a more inclusive work environment. But first, let's agree on some common language. Diversity should be understood as the fact of difference that makes a difference. Diversity is the who in the mix. Diversity, therefore, is the mix of differences that makes a difference. Ultimately, inclusion is the goal. Inclusion is the what, the mix of difference feeling valued and engaged. Plainly, inclusion happens when the mix feels valued. Inclusion is leveraging differences to increase opportunities for all. Managers are searching for ways to set their organizations apart from the competition and create breakthrough innovations. And creating a more diverse workplace is an important part of that. Managers who cultivate a diverse workforce have been shown to improve their organization's chances of success. Diverse teams that perform efficiently add value by combining individual strengths, making the whole greater than the sum of its parts. Managers who want to boost performance and jumpstart innovation agree that diverse teams produce the best results. In one survey of department heads and executives, 84% stated that they prefer heterogeneous teams because they lead to multiple viewpoints and have more prolific ideas. One of the challenges of managing a diverse workforce is creating an environment where all employees feel accepted as members of the team and where their unique talents are appreciated. When managers create a feeling of inclusiveness, employees display more loyalty, cooperation, and trustworthiness. Inclusion creates a strong sense of belonging and a trust that all people can have their voices heard and appreciated. In creating a culture of inclusion, managers may experience times of tension and discord as people with different backgrounds bring different opinions and ideas. Conflicts, anxiety, and misunderstandings may increase. Embracing these differences and using them to improve overall performance can be challenging. You may have heard the expression, "great minds think alike." But when it comes to achieving breakthrough levels of innovation and performance, the best minds are those that don't think alike. That's what diversity of thought is all about. In fact, over a 10-year period of time, Diversity Inc.'s top 50 companies for any given year outperformed the Dow Jones Industrial Average by 22% and the NASDAQ by 28%. Heterogeneous teams and organizations, made up of individuals with different backgrounds and skill sets, increase the chances of getting to a diversity of thought. These teams provide a broader, more deeper base of ideas, opinions, and experiences for problem solving, creativity, and innovation. Managers who create a diversity of thought significantly increase the chance of creating hard-to-replicate competitive advantage. By tapping into the strengths of diversity, teams are more likely to experience higher efficiency, better quality, less duplication of effort among team members, and increased innovation and creativity. Managers who build strong, diverse organizations reap numerous benefits. Let's explore. The benefits of diversity include a better use of employee talent, increased understanding of the marketplace, enhanced breadth of understanding in leadership positions, increased quality of team problem solving, and reduced costs associated with higher turnover, absenteeism, and lawsuits. Organizations with best talent are the ones with the best competitive advantage. Attracting a diverse workforce is not enough. Organizations must also provide career opportunities and advancement for minorities and women to retain them. A diverse workforce is better able to anticipate and respond to changing customer needs. Increased understanding of the marketplace is a benefit of diversity in your workforce. Homogeneous top management teams tend to be narrow-minded in their perspectives. However, heterogeneous teams provide a breadth of understanding of the world and the environment as they fusion the very best values and different perspectives that make up the world. Teams with diverse backgrounds bring different perspectives to the discussion that result in more creative and better solutions. A recent research project found that when people participated in diverse teams, their answers to problems were 58% more accurate than those of people participating in homogeneous teams. Organizations that foster a diverse workforce reduce turnover, absenteeism, and the risk of lawsuits. Because family responsibilities contribute to turnover and absenteeism, many organizations now offer childcare or elder care benefits, flexible work arrangements, telecommuting, and part-time employment. Discrimination lawsuits are also a costly side effect of a discriminatory work environment. Organizations that recruit and retain a diverse workforce reap numerous benefits, including improved problem-solving and increased understanding of the marketplace. Unconscious bias occurs when a person is not aware of the bias in his or her favorable and unfavorable assessments, actions, and decisions towards members of a specific group. Consider the following findings regarding unconscious bias, sometimes referred to as implicit bias. When researchers mailed thousands of similar resumes, some with stereotypical black names, such as Jamal, and some with stereotypically white names, such as Emily, to organizations with job openings, the resumes with white-sounding names were 50% more likely to result in a request for an interview. Research has found that women who come to the emergency room with a stroke wait 15% longer than men to get brain imaging, even when they have similar symptoms. Doctors who were shown patient histories and asked to make decisions about heart disease were much less likely to recommend cardiac catheterization, a helpful procedure, to black patients, even when their medical histories were statistically identical to those of white patients. Several studies have also found that email messages with stereotypical black names sent in response to an apartment rental ad on Craigslist get fewer responses than ones with white-sounding names. And finally, studies of state legislatures have found that white legislatures in both political parties are less likely to respond to constituents with African American sounding names. Beyond hidden or unconscious implicit bias, there are still examples of open and blatant prejudice and discrimination in organizations. Prejudice is the tendency to view people who are different as being deficient. Discrimination occurs when someone acts out of their negative attitudes toward people who are the targets of their prejudice. Paying a woman less than a man for the same work is gender discrimination. Mistreating people because they have a different ethnicity is ethnic discrimination. Although blatant discrimination is not as widespread as in the past, bias in the workplace often shows up in subtle ways. A survey found that 59% of minority managers surveyed had observed a racially motivated double standard in the delegation of assignments. One interesting recent study found that while talkative men tend to be as powerful and competent, talkative women tend to be perceived as less competent and pushy. Stereotypes are rigid, exaggerated, irrational beliefs associated with a particular group of people. To be successful managing diversity, managers need to eliminate harmful stereotypes from their thinking, shedding any biases that negatively affect the workplace. Stereotypes are often based on folklore, media portrayals, and other unreliable sources of information. For example, studies have shown that the traditional stereotype of a good manager is masculine and reflects characteristics such as assertiveness and competitiveness. Increasingly, however, for people who have worked in organizations with a high percentage of female managers, that stereotype no longer exists. Those employees often show a stronger preference for feminine characteristics, such as caring and compassion. Legitimate cultural differences are backed up by systematic research of real differences, not folklore and supposition. Stereotypes also contain negative connotations. On the other hand, managers who value diversity view differences as potentially positive or neutral. For example, the observation that Asian males are typically less aggressive does not imply they're inferior or superior to white males. It simply means there's a difference. Stereotypes assume that all members of a group have the same characteristics. Managers who value diversity recognize that individuals within a group of people may or may not share the same characteristics. Managers need to learn how to value differences, which means they recognize individual differences and see these differences with an appropriate attitude. To facilitate this attitude, managers can learn about cultural patterns and typical beliefs of groups to help understand why people act the way they do.